If you're saying yes to podcast interviews, sharing your story, offering all the value, and still wondering why isn't any of this translating into actual clients, leads, or stages, it's not because podcasting doesn't work. It's because you're treating the opportunity like exposure instead of what it really is: a conversion platform, a referral engine, and a relationship building catalyst. And until you treat each podcast like the trust bridge it actually is, you're going to keep leaking revenue. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on how high level experts like you can finally get real ROI from podcast guesting without doing more, pitching harder, or adding another funnel. I'm Juli Baranik, the founder of Podvantage, and I work with TEDx speakers, authors, and Shark Tank business owners, transformational coaches, and subject matter experts who are done with the DIY grind. They've already built something substantial. Now they want visibility that creates demand. And that's what I help them do by getting them out of the cold pitching and into strategic authority building podcast stages that move premium buyers to act. Because here's the truth: if your visibility doesn't build trust, deepen positioning, and drive real leads, what's it actually doing? Let's get to the core. Here's what my clients actually want from podcasting, and maybe you do too. You want to be seen in the right rooms by the right audience where your credibility is already assumed. You want aligned clients reaching out saying, I heard you on that podcast and I already know I want to work with you. You want your interviews to feel like keynotes, positioned, powerful, and profitable. You want to spend your time delivering, not researching shows, tweaking pitches, or guessing at your CTA. And most importantly, you want every interview to do something for your business: convert, elevate, or expand. You're not here for vanity visibility. You're here for trust, traction, and authority. And that's exactly what we engineer together. Here's the problem most people don't realize. Most experts show up to podcast interviews like they're trying to get good press. They treat the host like a media outlet. They over prepare their talking points and they try to perform. But here's the shift: podcasting is not press, it's proximity. Let me put it to you this way: treating a podcast host like a broadcaster gets you airtime, treating them like a connector gets you business. You're not there to look good. You're there to make the kind of impression that leads to, hey, I need to introduce you to someone. Or we should talk about having you speak at our next event. That's where real ROI lives and where most people are missing it completely. So let's talk about how I help my clients build relationship-based revenue generating visibility through podcasting. Here's what we do different at Podvantage. We lead with positioning, not pitching. Before we talk about shows, we dial in your $1 million message because no one is buying from the best kept secret. We craft messaging that makes premium clients lean in before the interview even starts. We prep you for relationship rich conversations. You're not just showing up to speak, you're showing up to connect. We help you use every interview as a way to deepen trust with the host and expand your reach beyond the mic. Because here's the truth: podcast hosts are power connectors. They can refer clients, invite you to private events, plug you into their mastermind, or even invite you back for more. But only if you treat the interview like a conversation, not a broadcast. We engineer conversion into every conversation. We design the arc of your interview, from the intro to your stories to your call to action, so the episode actually does something for your business. I know, crazy. Whether that's inbound leads, speaking gigs, or sales calls, it's all intentional. And we make it effortless. You don't pitch, you don't prep alone, you don't figure it out on the fly. We handle it all so you can show up, speak, and let the strategy do the rest. Because one well-placed interview with the right message and the right room can turn into so much more than a 30-minute appearance. It can turn into your next 5 clients, your next stage, your next big collaboration. So here's what I want you to do today. Audit your last 1 to 2 podcast interviews and ask yourself, did you speak to one buyer or try to appeal to everyone? Did the host introduce you as the expert or just another guest? Did your call to action feel like the next step or like an afterthought? Did you follow up with the host to deepen the relationship or did you just move on? That reflection alone will show you exactly where your visibility is leaking ROI. Let me give you a quick conversion upgrade that you can implement right now. Start ending every interview with a relationship call to action and a value call to action combo. Here's how it sounds. If you're listening to this thinking, this is exactly the shift I've been needing in my visibility, head to podvantage.ai and grab a free one-on-one strategy call with me. And hey, if you're connected to the show or a stage where this message belongs, I'd love to be introduced. This subtle combo does 2 powerful things. It activates leads with a low friction call to action, which is your strategy call, and it opens the doors to referrals, introductions, and expanded visibility because you're making it easy for people to share your message. You're not pitching, you're inviting. So if this conversation hit home, if you're realizing that your current podcast visibility is missing the conversion and connection strategy it needs, here's your next move. Click the link in the show notes or head to podvantage.ai and book your free one-on-one podcast strategy call with me. On that call, we'll map out the hidden revenue leaks in your current visibility plan and show you how to start using podcast guesting to attract premium clients, land aligned speaking gigs, and build a pipeline rooted in trust. Because you don't need more exposure. You need ROI-driven proximity and referral-rich visibility. And that's exactly what we build at Podvantage. Book your free strategy call now at podvantage.ai. And if you love this episode, forward it to the person on your team who's helping with visibility, or better yet, share it with the host of your next show you want to be on. Because showing up well is one thing. Showing up in the right room with the right message and the right strategy, that's what converts. See you on the next episode of the Podvantage Power Play.